Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and since it's back to school season, I thought now would be a perfect time for an episode on public schools. I suppose I should specify that I'll be focusing on American public schools. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell truth from fiction. Consider this. A lot of people say the long summer break in public school calendars was created to allow children in rural areas to assist their families with farm work during the summer. But is that true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Today's word is pedagogy. This term refers to the method and practice of teaching, especially as an academic subject or theoretical concept. It encompasses how teaching influences learning and covers the goals of education, the role of the teacher, and the methods for achieving the desired learning outcomes. The word pedagogy comes from the ancient Greek word pedagogia, which is derived from pedagogos, and this term itself was a combination of two words, pais or paidos, which would refer to a child, and ago, meaning I lead. So pedagogos was literally a leader of a child. In ancient Greece, a pedagogos was often a servant who would escort a child to and from school and sometimes supervise their studies or behavior. Over time, the meaning evolved to refer to the art and science of teaching itself, reflecting the core idea of guiding and leading learners. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about public schools. Number 1. The oldest school in America is actually older than the United States itself. The Boston Latin School was founded on April 23, 1635, a full 141 years before the Declaration of Independence was signed. It was established by the town of Boston with the mission of providing a classical education primarily focused on Latin and Greek to sons of the city's elite. The school's curriculum was designed to prepare young men for leadership roles in the church and state. Its legacy is incredible, with a roster of famous alumni that includes 5 signers of the Declaration of Independence: Samuel Adams, John Hancock, Robert Treat Paine, William Hooper, and Benjamin Franklin, although Franklin famously dropped out of the school. Nonetheless, the school's impact on American history is undeniable, setting a precedent for publicly funded education long before it became a nationwide standard. Number 2. The concept of universal publicly funded education in the United States began to take shape in the mid-19th century, led by reformers like Horace Mann. Prior to the formal establishment of widespread public schools, education in colonial and early American society was largely fragmented and unequal. It was primarily provided in homes through apprenticeships by churches or in small, private, quote, dame schools. And of course, there were the academies that often charged tuition. Access to education was heavily dependent on the family's wealth, social status, and gender, with formal learning often reserved for the sons of the elite, while girls' education typically focused on domestic skills. Horace Mann, often called the father of the common school, became the first secretary of the Massachusetts Board of Education in 1837. He passionately advocated for a system of universal, free, and non-sectarian education, believing it was essential for the health of a democratic republic, for social mobility, and for moral development. Mann envisioned common schools that would bring children from all social classes and backgrounds together, fostering a shared culture and preparing them for informed citizenship. His tireless efforts in Massachusetts, including advocating for better teacher training, improved school facilities, and a standardized curriculum, served as a model for other states, laying the groundwork for the robust public education system we know today. Number 3. Public schools are the primary educational choice for the vast majority of American students, serving over 80% of the K 12 student population. Around 50 million students are enrolled in public elementary and secondary schools across the United States. This massive number shows how central the role of public education plays in the lives of American families and the foundational impact it has on the nation's future. This broad reach means public schools are incredibly diverse, serving students of all socioeconomic backgrounds, cultures, and learning needs. This diversity enriches the learning environment, exposing students to a wide array of perspectives and preparing them for a complex, interconnected world. The commitment to providing education to all children, regardless of their background, is a core principle that has shaped public education in the United States since its inception. Number 4. Public schools collectively employ over 8 million individuals, forming one of the largest workforces in the United States. And it's not just public sector workers. A lot of businesses in the private sector also rely on the school system. Public elementary and secondary schools in the U.S. employ around 8.4 million individuals in total. This includes not only 3.2 million teachers, but also over 1 million paraprofessionals, nearly 300,000 education and childcare administrators, over 313,000 custodians, and about 195,000 bus drivers. This makes public education one of the largest employment sectors in the country, even larger than the entire retail or construction industries. This vast workforce represents a significant portion of the American labor market, with around 5.6% of all national employment attributed to elementary and secondary schools. Beyond direct employment, public schools also do a lot for the private sector economy. For instance, over $27 billion is spent annually on transportation services with companies like Bluebird, manufacturing the nation's 480,000 yellow school buses. Construction and renovation projects in schools amount to tens of billions annually, relying on architects, engineers, and construction firms. And we can't forget the education technology and publishing industries, which see annual spending ranging from around $26 billion to $41 billion through contracts with public schools for digital learning tools, textbooks, and assessment services. And our fifth and final fun fact for today: investing in public education yields significant societal returns, with estimates suggesting a return of at least $2 for every dollar invested, primarily through increased tax revenue and reduced crime rates. A strong public education system is a powerful economic engine and a cornerstone of community well-being. Studies have shown a substantial return on investment for public school funding. For instance, research from the Institute for Policy Research at Northwestern University indicates that for every additional dollar invested in schools, there's a return of about $2 in increased future earnings by students. And specifically targeted interventions can yield even higher returns. Every dollar invested in pre-K education can yield a return of about $7 to taxpayers. One of the concrete ways we see these investments pay off is through higher graduation rates. High school graduates, on average, earn significantly more than dropouts, contributing substantially more to federal, state, and local tax revenues throughout their lifetimes. For example, some estimates suggest that if every high school dropout in a single year were to graduate, national savings could exceed $40 billion. Moreover, improved education levels are consistently linked to reduced crime rates. A 1% increase in high school graduation rates can save approximately $1.4 billion in incarceration costs annually. So, investing in public education helps to not only make a brighter future for those students, but also helps to make a safer and more prosperous society for everyone. Now for some news you can use. Here's a practical tip for making the most of your public school experience. Whether you're a student or a parent, build a positive relationship with educators early and communicate often. Don't wait for a problem to arise. A simple, friendly introductory email at the start of the school year can make a world of difference. For parents, it can be as simple as writing an email introducing yourself and your child and stating that you're excited for the class this year, as well as asking what you can do to support the teacher and your student in the upcoming school year. Keep the emails concise and positive. Opening the lines of communication in that way shows the teacher that you're engaged and a supportive partner in your child's education. For students, taking a moment after class to ask a question or just say you enjoyed a lesson does the same thing. It creates a foundation of mutual respect and makes it much easier to discuss any challenges or concerns that might come up later in the year. And please remember that while educators are happy to help you and your child work through any problems that arise, only hearing about problems can be draining. Taking a moment to write a kind note and sharing something good you noticed can make their day. And really, that's true of everyone, not just educators. Take the time to compliment people when you see them doing something well. These little acts of kindness can make a huge difference. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked if it's true that the school calendar with the summers off was developed to allow rural students to help out on the farm. Well, it's commonly repeated, but that's a fallacy. Historical research indicates that the origins of the modern school calendar are a bit more complex and largely rooted in urban reform efforts. In the 19th century, urban schools often had very long school years, sometimes up to 240 days, with multiple shorter breaks. Rural schools often had shorter, segmented terms, including winter and summer sessions to accommodate planting and harvesting needs in the spring and fall. The standardization of the school year to approximately 180 days, with a lengthy summer break, emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This shift was driven by multiple factors. One of the biggest factors was concerns about public health. Educators and reformers believed that hot, crowded school buildings in the summer were unhealthy for both students and teachers, leading to arguments that students needed a substantial period of rest and recuperation. Some educational reformers, including Horace Mann, who I mentioned earlier, had this idea that students needed a break from, quote, overstimulating the mind. Also, wealthier urban families often left the hot cities for cooler climates during the summer months, and schools adjusted their calendars to accommodate those attendance patterns. Now, I hope you enjoyed stimulating your mind and learning about public schools with me today, and be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.